everyone, welcome to my video. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here with me. Let's get into it. We live in a world that moves fast. Fast money, fast success, fast gratification. But tell me, what is really the rush? And they say wealth is built in numbers, but I believe that true wealth is built in patience. Again, welcome to the video and my channel. My name is Alejandro. Thank you for taking the Brazilian path with me. I truly appreciate it. Here, my goal is to share life lessons, personal challenges, and the inspiration I've gathered along the way. Lessons that I hope will help you navigate your own life and journey. Before we dive in, let me explain what wealth patience means to me. Okay, it's something pretty abstract, and I definitely don't want to get you more confused. Wealth patience is about understanding that true wealth, whether it's financial, personal, or spiritual, takes time. It's about resisting the urge to rush success and instead trusting the process. It's about the realization that everything meaningful in life, relationships, mastery, fulfillment, requires consistency, resilience, and willingness to wait for the right moment. To me, wealth patience is more than just delaying gratification. It's about building something sustainable. It's about appreciating the journey, learning from every step, and becoming the kind of person who can handle the success you are working toward. In today's video, I'm going to break down 5 key points about wealth patience and how you can use them to create your own patience currency, as I call it. Something that will serve you for a lifetime. That is the goal. Let's get into the video. We plant seeds today, but we want forests by tomorrow. Now we start climbing, but we demand the view before we even earn the height. We chase, we sprint, we grasp, but true wealth walks at its own pace. Now my first point is about delayed gratification and the power of waiting. The power of waiting, and this concept about delayed gratification, something that has taken me a while to even realize and learn. And let's be honest, waiting isn't easy. We live in a world where everything is instant. Instant streaming, instant delivery, instant results. So naturally, when we want something, we want it now. But here's the truth that I'm sure we all know: the things that come quickly often don't last. They don't last. And why is that? Well, think about it. Have you ever seen someone go for a quick win? Maybe they jumped on a trendy investment, a shortcut to success, or some sort of fast cash. And yes, it worked at first, but then it fizzled out. Now why? Because what comes fast usually isn't built on a strong foundation. And delayed gratification, the ability to wait for what you want, teaches us to value the journey. It shows us that the work we put in today creates a lasting value tomorrow. Now, take something simple like saving money. You could spend every paycheck as soon as you get it, buying things you don't need just because you can, or you could save, invest, and let the money grow. And it's not exciting in the short term, but years later the patience pays off and you've built something meaningful. And it's not just about money. Really, think about it. Relationships, right? Now, I'm not saying a relationship with that weird uncle or that weird cousin, but think about careers. The best things in life take time, effort, persistence, and patience to develop. Now I'm going to tell you something personal. I won't get too personal. I remember in my 20s, seeing everyone around me making money, building solid careers, and networking with ease. I wanted everything right away. And if I didn't see the results immediately, I'd get frustrated with myself. I thought success came from quick wins. But then I realized something. As I got older and worked different jobs and different roles, my mindset started to shift. I began to reframe how I saw my own progress. I stopped seeing my slow progress as a failure or a lack of direction, and instead I started seeing it as it was my own unique journey. And the story I wanted to write for myself and my family. My book, essentially. Even in my mid-20s, I didn't have a solid foundation or a clear direction of what I wanted to do. And that was a turning point for me. I had to make a decision. I needed to get out of my own shell, plant some seeds, and give them the sunlight for my potential to grow. And that's the thing about delayed gratification. You see, you might not see the result right away, but every small step, every tiny effort you put in is like nurturing that seed. Over time, with patience and consistency, it grows into something meaningful, something strong, enduring. So ask yourself, what's one thing you're working on right now, that's worth waiting for? What's that seed, that one seed you're planting today, trusting it'll grow in time, okay? And the way isn't easy, but trust me, it's always worth it. So think about that. What's that one thing? Okay, people, my second point is time as currency, what wealth really means. And patience is an investment, not just in money, but in your mindset. Not just in assets, but in who you belong and become along the way. And the richest people aren't those just with deep pockets, but those who hold time in their hands and don't rush the process. And this is something I've been thinking about as I've gotten older. When we think about wealth, the first thing that comes to our mind is usually money. I know for me, typically that's something that comes up. Bank accounts, investments, net worth. But here's the truth. Wealth goes far beyond dollars and cents. Real wealth is time. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're so focused on earning money that you barely spend time with the people who matter most to you. Always hustling, always chasing the next paycheck, and by the time you have enough, quote unquote, enough time, what have you really gained and what have you really lost? Now think about someone who values their time like gold. They invest it wisely on personal growth, on meaningful connections, on building a life they're proud of. They may not have the biggest house or the fanciest car, but they're rich. Rich in memories, relationships, and more importantly, a sense of purpose. And here's how I see it. And every minute you spend improving yourself, learning a new skill, taking care of your health, or working toward a goal is a deposit into your wealth patience bank. And every moment you share with loved ones, building trust, creating memories, and supporting each other, that's also a form of wealth. And every hour you dedicate to pursuing your passions and living with intention, that's what real richness lies. For me, learning to see time as currency was life-changing, and it still is, because it's a process. And it taught me to stop focusing on only the money I can make and instead think about time. The time I was trading to earn it. And once I started to spending my time on things that truly mattered, on growth, relationships, and purpose, I felt wealthier than ever. I started to build better social relationships and look back at past ones with a new perspective. And I began to question the time I had spent chasing goals just to get ahead and realize how much more valuable that time could have been if I had invested it in the right things. Let me make one thing clear. Make sure I'm not confusing you. Having patience with your time doesn't mean sitting idle. You still need a sense of urgency, and I encourage that. Life moves fast, and if you're not intentional, you can be left behind. So at the very least, have a short-term plan, something that helps you stay grounded while working toward long-term goals, which is very, very important. Now ask yourself, how are you spending your time? Are you treating it like valuable currency? Or are you wasting it on things that don't bring any value to your life? All right, key point number 3, the art of waiting, trusting the process. Now think about it. The greatest things in life, they take time. A tree doesn't rush to grow. Its roots must find their strength. A river doesn't force its flow. It carves its own path patiently. And even the stars take billions of years to shine their brightest. So why do we expect our wealth, our success, even our dreams to happen overnight? I know I used to think that. Now waiting, it's something most of us dread. But what if I told you that patience isn't about doing nothing? It's not about sitting around hoping something will happen. Okay? Patience is an active process. It's a form of trust. Trust in the process, trust in the work you've put in, and trust in the timing of your life. Now think of a tree. When you plant the seed, you don't see anything right away, obviously. Now days go by, maybe even weeks, and it feels like nothing is happening. But underground, where you're not able to see, the roots are spreading, anchoring themselves, and preparing to support something much bigger. The tree doesn't rush. It doesn't question its process. It just grows. Trusting the sunlight, the soil, and the rain to do their work. And one day, that tiny seed becomes something strong and unshakable, but only because it allowed time to do its magic, right? Allowed it to do its thing. For me, the idea of trusting the process has not always been easy. Let me tell you, it has not. And in fact, it's something to this day I'm still learning. And I've had a bad relationship with trust in the process. I often wanted to bend my own will, to override it, to push, to control, to make things happen right away. I thought if I work harder or force my way forward, I could skip the waiting line. But over time, I realized that that's not the way. Trying to control everything left me frustrated. Instead, I started to let go and trust the seeds I planted, that they would grow when the time is right. And it's not always easy, but it's every time I lean into the process, I see things unfold that I've never really expected. Patience isn't passive, it's intentional. It's about doing the work today, even when you can't see the results yet, and believing that all of it will come together when the time is right. So I got a question for you. Can you trust that the seeds you planted will grow? Is that something you can think about? Right? Patience isn't easy, but when you trust the process, you'll find that the wait was worth every second. Point number 3, sustainable success. What lasts versus what fades away. Now, wealth isn't just about what's in your account, obviously. We talked about that. It's about what's in your character. Are you patient enough to wait for the right moment? Or will you spend your energy focusing and forcing doors that aren't meant to be open yet? I know I've done that in the past for sure. Because sometimes the richest thing you can have is the patience to let time do its work. Fast money fades fast. Fast success, it's fragile. Fast dreams are rushed. Easy wins, they all don't last. But what's built with patience, that's different. That's wealth that holds weight. That's the kind of wealth that doesn't just add value to your life, it adds meaning. Fast success is tempting. It feels good in the moment. Like a quick win you didn't have to work too hard for. But here's the thing. It's often fragile. What comes quickly fades just as fast. Now think about it like this. You can build something quickly, cutting corners, skipping steps, and rushing the process that we just talked about, right? And it may look good on the surface, but the foundation, it's shaky, it's weak. The first challenge, the first setback, and everything comes crashing down. Now compare that to building something patiently, brick by brick, day by day, road rage by road rage. And it may take longer, it may feel frustrating at times, but when you stay consistent, when you're resilient, you create something that can weather any storm. And let's talk about buying a car. Imagine someone decides they want a new car right away. They jump into it without much thought. They take out a big loan, maybe beyond their means, just because they want the car now. And at first it feels great, driving that nice, shiny new car, something flashy, something they've always wanted. But as time goes on, the payments start piling up, the maintenance costs hit, the initial excitement fades, and suddenly the car feels more like a burden than a reward. Now, is that something you want? I don't know. I've been there though, I can tell you that. Now think about someone who approaches buying a car differently. Instead of rushing, they save over time. Maybe they buy a reliable used car first and hold on to it while they're building their savings. They're patient. When they finally purchase the car they've been working toward, they don't just enjoy the car, they appreciate it because it's a reward for the work they put in. And because they've prepared financially, the car doesn't come with the stress of overwhelming debt. And the difference is clear. One approach fades quickly under pressure, while the other creates lasting value. And the same principle applies to almost everything in your life. Your career, your relationships, your personal goals, like fitness for me. When you focus on the long term, on doing the work versus doing the work consistently, you create something meaningful, something that endures. And I've seen it with my own life. The moments when I chased fast results left me feeling unfulfilled, like I was constantly starting over. But when I took the time to build, whether it was a skill, a relationship, or a plan, it felt different. It felt more solid. And it's those things that the ones I worked forever, those lasted longer. So ask yourself, do you want fast success or do you want something sustainable? Do you want something that fades or something that grows stronger over time? Because the truth is, what's built patiently isn't just successful, it's unshakable. Okay, my last and final fifth point here, the power of becoming, how patience transforms you. So wealth is not in what you chase. It's in what you're willing to wait for. It's in knowing that some things take time and that you're okay with that. So breathe. Trust the process. Let patience do its work. Because when the time is right, everything that's meant for you will come. Patience isn't just about waiting for something to happen. It's about what happens to you while you wait. You see, every time you choose to be patient, whether it's with your goals, your relationships, or even yourself, you're not just delaying gratification, you're growing, you're learning, and you are becoming. Now think about it. The process of waiting helps you focus to develop qualities you wouldn't gain otherwise. Resiliency, discipline, gratitude, and it pushes you to look inward, to trust yourself, and to find the strength in the journey, not just in the destination. And here's the beautiful thing about patience. It transforms you into someone who can handle the rewards you've been working for, because sometimes the wait isn't about the goal itself. It's about preparing you for it. The success, the relationship, the dream, it's all coming, as long as you put in the effort. But who you become along the way, that's truly what matters as well, your character. Patience teaches you to value the work, the lessons, and the growth. And in doing so, it brings a kind of fulfillment that no quick win or shortcut ever could. So embrace the wait, because while you're waiting, you're becoming. So let's take a moment to reflect on what we've talked about. We started with the idea of delayed gratification, how waiting for the right moment builds lasting value. We talked about time as currency, the most precious resource you have. We explored the art of waiting, trusting the process, and letting things unfold naturally. And we discussed sustainable success, why building something patiently is so much stronger than chasing quick wins. And finally, we ended with the power of becoming, how patience shapes you into the person you're meant to be. Now, I want to hear from you. What is one area of your life, one area you've had to practice patience or are currently practicing patience? Was it a goal you worked toward, or a relationship you nurtured, or maybe even just learning to trust the process? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how patience has shaped your journey. And if you found this video helpful or inspiring, let me know by hitting that like button and sharing it with someone who needs to hear this type of message. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more conversations like this, because this is just the beginning of what we're building together. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Remember, patience isn't just about the wait, it's about the journey. I'll see you in the next video. Stay patient, stay inspired, and more importantly, stay resilient.